Hey everybody, my name is Alex Merced from alexmerced.com, and I want to talk about why lending programs are always bad policy. Now what I mean by a lending program is that sometimes there are things that policymakers are like, well, we would love more people to start businesses, we would love more people to go to college, we would love more people to own a house, so how about the government does something like create a secondary market for those loans. That's what they did with Fannie and Freddie by creating what's called government-sponsored enterprises, or even creating full-on private companies who are subsidized by government to buy those loans from the banks, so the banks make more of those loans. Or by providing guarantees and saying, hey, we'll guarantee the loan. Okay, so basically, worst comes to worst, if this person doesn't pay, the government will pay. And this way the bank feels more comfortable making the loan. This doesn't necessarily expand credit per se. It doesn't mean there's more credit. All it does is divert credit. That money was going to be lent out to somebody. But instead of lending it out to whoever would put it to best use and has really thought it through and have the bank really think through and do underwriting, assessing the risk of who they're lending to, they're going to lend to where government programs are because it's easier money. If the government's going to guarantee it, why assess the risk? The government's going to pay me back anyways. If the government creates an entity to buy that loan off of me, then why not make the loan? They're going to it's not my problem after they buy it back from me. So you kill the risk assessment incentives. So you end up having lower quality loans. But at the same time, you may make it easier to go to college in the short run. Okay, so basically a good example on this is houses. Once upon a time, there used to be 5-year mortgages. That's how mortgages normally were. Okay, so you'd buy a $10,000 house on a 5-year mortgage and pay whatever your mortgage price was for 5 years. And if you needed a longer period of time, you would just reborrow for another 5 years. But then what happened is they got the idea. It's like, well, if you're financing it over 5 years, those mortgage payments are going to be kind of large. They'd be even smaller over 30 years, and then over 30 years, smaller mortgage payments, more people can buy a house. So yes, that $10,000 house is a lot cheaper per month with a 30-year loan versus a 5-year loan. But here's the thing, the person who could afford the $10,000 5-year loan can now afford $30,000 on a 30-year loan. So you've just now pushed up the prices of houses to $30,000 because you're gonna be like, well, I can afford to pay the extra per month, so I'm gonna pay a little bit more to get the house that I want. Then somebody else is like, no, I want that house. So they counterbid, and you end up having a bidding war to the new normal, to the new price they can afford at the longer term. So the more easy you make it to borrow money for something, you don't necessarily make it more affordable. You just make it easier to push the price up. It'll be affordable in the short run, because in the short, prices don't move up right away. So there'll be a period of time, and yes, that making it easier to borrow the money does make it a little bit cheaper for a few people, but in the long run, you make it more expensive for everyone. And now everyone's in more debt for their student loans. Everyone's in more debt when they buy a house. And you see the same thing to an extent in healthcare. So basically, everyone's now expected to be having a huge debt getting out of school and then get another huge loan to buy a house. And they're like, how did my parents ever pull this off? How did they survive? This is the world we live in now. This is why lending programs don't work. They just end up pushing up the prices of the areas where you divert that credit to. Doesn't necessarily mean people shouldn't be able to get a loan to buy a house or to buy to go to college. But when you subsidize them, you take out the risk assessment, you take out a lot of the thought process that at the bank level and at the individual level that helps keep these things in check. And you get what you have. Rapid inflation and a lot of heartache in the cost of living, because if you increase the cost of living for everyone, not just the people getting these loans, they're pushing up the prices for everyone because the government has decided to get involved in the lending market. Get government out of the lending market. Let market forces take hold so prices can get back to sanity. My name is Alex Merced from alexmerced.com. Have a great day and enjoy.